you wanna grow your list size, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. And when you gotta boost your revenue, pop up like it's hot, hey, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. Pick your favorite template, you can tailor to your brand. They're MailChimp-erific, you're gonna be a fan. MailChimp your marketing with our new customizable pop-ups.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at polestar.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream house or ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Birds of the Round Table here on Monday night. Joining me, as always, is the entire crew, starting with David at PHL Eagle News. What's going on, David?
Doing great, man. Still enjoying the challenges of the new platform, but hey, the show goes on.
We're figuring it out every week. We get a little better. Also joining Dives at Mr. Crockpot. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? Fun fact, David cannot see me during this show, so this should be a fun one.
Well, that was, I think that was me last week when everybody was frozen, so I had no idea what any of you guys were doing. So we're getting better. Crowley, what's up, buddy? And of course, last but not least, Shane at Shane Half NFL. What's good, buddy?
What's up, Ryan? I think we're live on YouTube. Krabby says we are. That's great news. I joked to the guys that I've spent more time talking to Riverside support this week than I have my wife. And hopefully we got the intro video. We've got some stuff figured out. It's still a work in progress. I was alerted that the podcast version of our wide receiver rankings, my audio was messed up. Like it was off by like a second. So we were talking over each other part of the time. It only lasted like the first 12 minutes, I guess, until my power went off and I came back on. So if you're listening now and you're like, that was unlistenable, I apologize for that. I can't fix it, but the video on YouTube is correct. So you can go check that out if you want those first few minutes, if it annoyed you that much. Hopefully we won't have any issues this time around.
Yeah, certainly. Apologies for the previous apologies in advance for anything that might happen. Technology is fun, isn't it? So tonight, we are going to be ranking our top 16 tight ends in the NFL heading into the 2025 season. If you've been with us this whole entire time, well, first of all, thank you. But we have gone over the quarterbacks, the running backs. Last week we did the wide receivers, And now we are on to our tight ends. So this should be a fun exercise to kind of see where everybody's head's at heading into the 2025 season. So with that being said, I'll start with Dibes because you're on the bottom. Number 16. Who do you have for number 16 tight end in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid when it comes to Chicago Bears and Colston Loveland and Caleb Williams' development and that new head coach over there. I mean, this is I'm the only one that had Colston Loveland, and he's going to be the featured tight end. You look at Cole Kmet, he's part of a previous regime, and he had a down year last year. A team doesn't pick a player in the top 10 without expecting them to be holding a feature role there. You look at Ben Johnson, the new head coach. You look at during his time in Detroit, he had Sam Laporta, who played a lot in 11 and 12 personnel, and he had a lot of opportunities there down the field. And you look at Caleb Williams' willingness to, hit deep targets. And I think Colston Loveland's a really good fit there. I think I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid. I always favor rookies on these things. So he's not my only rookie on this list.
Here's my shocked face. All right. So you mentioned that no one had Colston Loveland. Shane, I know your answer already, but just so we can have it officially on tape, why did you not have Colston Loveland on your rankings?
Yeah, he's a rookie, and I just try not to put rookies on these lists. And I pretty much said that Ashton Genty was probably the only rookie that would make it, and I stuck to that this week. I almost put Tyler Warren in there at like number 16, and I was like, no, I'm going to stick with it. Tight end especially is such a difficult position to project to the NFL at times. So he's just a rookie, and he's not going to be on it for me.
David, anything to add?
No, the same. I mean, to give Dibes a little support here, Ben Johnson made Sam Laporta look really good as a rookie in Detroit. So I would guess it would stand to reason he'll do the same for Loveland, his rookie season. But it's a hard position to kind of show off on as a rookie. I think we've seen so many guys who we thought would do something like Kyle Pitts, and they didn't. So
yeah, I think we're perhaps seeing the NFL through Brock Bowers colored glasses. But it's hard for a tight end to break free as a rookie. So, all right, let's move right along. Shane, you're number 16. Who do you got?
I have at 16 Kyle Pitts, who David just mentioned. And I mean, Kyle Pitts has over 1,000 yards as a rookie. He's been less productive each of the 2 years since. He's a unicorn athletically, but he's a major liability in the run game. He started being on the field less down the stretch. And so I'm still, I guess, having him up there for his athleticism, but he's got some major limitations. And this is probably the end of the road for him as far as whether I'm going to continue to feel that way about him.
All right. I was going to say, it doesn't look like, oh, no, wait. David, you also have Kyle Pitts on your list at number 15.
Yeah, I think he's the biggest enigma at the position. He has all the tools. I mean, he's speed, size, ball skills. He's been trapped in scheme purgatory since entering the league. If they finally unleash him as like a vertical threat, a mismatch, instead of a glorified decoy, I think he could enter the conversation as being a dangerous weapon. But if not, I think we'll have to accept that usage rather than talent will end up defining his ceiling.
All right. Well, there you go. Dibes, any reason why you didn't have Kyle Pitts on your list?
Zero. Just not a believer anymore. Do I sound any better or no?
It sounds a little louder to me now.
Sounds better to me as well. And you look great.
Ah, man.
And now you're just lying.
All right. Okay. Well, David, we'll stick with you for your number 16. Who do you got?
I went with Tucker Kraft. Um, I think he was one of Jordan Love's favorite security blankets during their little late season surge there. He showed he could handle the dirty work in the run game, slip into zones when defenses keyed on the receivers. I know Luke Musgrave is in the mix, so volume could be Spidey, but I think Kraft's value is that Love trusts him, and I think he's a solid tight end 2 with tight end 1 upside.
All right. Dodge, you had him at number 13.
Yeah, Yak Machine, no doubt. Um, I'm actually a guy that was a big fan of Luke Musgrave, and he really hasn't done much. Slightly disappointing. I expected Musgrave to kind of take his game to the next level, and I think Tucker Kraft there is the guy. So that's why he's high on my list.
All right. And Shane, you had him all the way up at number 7.
Yeah, maybe that's crazy, but breakout year in year 2. He catches 50 passes for 707 yards and 7 touchdowns. And it's not about the overall stats, though. It's more about the efficiency for me. He was second in yards per catch, and he led the league in yards after the catch per reception at 8.8. Second place, by the way, was 6.6. So, I mean, he's lapping the league when it comes to creating after the catch. Some of that's the Packers offense, but he's a physical runner with a high motor. He needs to improve like creating separation at his routes, but I think he's a big up and comer in the league. And so maybe I'm a little higher on him than I should be, but I'm really excited about Tucker Kraft in 2025.
Yeah, he definitely has the potential. I think the combo with him and Love should make for, certainly a good nightmare matchup for defenses. So I'm excited to kind of see what he can do, and I look for him to continue to rise up on these lists here. So all right, let's stay with me, and I'll go with my number 16, and I went with Jake Ferguson from the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, obviously last year was, again, hopefully the, not the what we're expecting out of Jake Ferguson. Some injuries, Dallas as as a whole, with Dak having some injuries. So he's coming into the year healthy. Dak's healthy. And again, I think adding a weapon like Pickens certainly might kind of make it so he sees a little bit more action there when they're worrying about the 2 wide receivers there in Dallas. And yeah, I have always thought he was decent tight end, nothing too high, nothing too low, pretty consistent. So hopefully he gets right back to it this upcoming season. But Dodge, you had him number 14.
Yeah, you look at 2023, he had 25 red zone targets, leading all tight ends. And last year, 0 touchdowns and just 6 red zone targets. So you're hoping, a full season of Dak Prescott, a healthy Dak Prescott, can return his production. But long story short, the Dallas offense is going to move the ball. There's an offense that throws 61% of the time, the sixth most in the league in 2024. So that's why he's on my list.
All right. Shane, any reason why you did not have Jake Ferguson on your list?
Yeah, he was in that group of tight ends. There was like 4 or 5 guys that I probably could have put at 16, and I just chose Kyle Pitts for the athleticism. But I think he's a solid starting tight end in the league. He was in with a couple guys that just missed for me.
And David?
Yeah, the same reason. I actually had Tyler Warren 17 and Ferguson 18, so it was just personal preference, I guess.
Yeah, I think sometimes in these lists, when you get to that, 14, 15, 16, 17 range, that, there's a very minute difference between, one guy to the next. So, all right, let's go back to Shane. Your number 15. Who do you got?
Yeah, I have at number 15, Evan Ingram. And, he missed half of last season with an injury, and he wasn't that good when he was healthy, but it was with the Jags, who have been a bit of a dumpster fire. And it was also a year removed from a monster season. he's got elite athleticism. He is a good route runner with yak ability. His consistency hasn't been great. He's very limited as a blocker. And honestly, like my 14 through 16 are kind of all the same type guy, hyper athletic, yak guy who can't really block very well. But, I think Evan Ingram, for what he brings to the tight end position, you can do a lot with it as long as you don't ask him to block much.
All right. Okay. David, he had number 14 on your list.
Yeah, some of the same reasons Shane said. It's his athleticism. I mean, I think he does more on the field than for the Jaguars and the box score shows. He has the ability to get open underneath, and he's, could be one of the few reliable weapons in Jacksonville's offense that's just, continually up and down. So I like his upside there. I like his athleticism, and I think he could be a weapon in the passing game.
All right. Dives, you had him all the way up at number 9.
Yeah, truthfully, I had no idea where to put this dude. Like Shane said, he has potential to be a big time receiving threat. You look at the Broncos, and I'll be honest, I don't know. This was a team that had the third fewest passes in the league to their tight end room in 2024. Ingram's a big time upgrade in their tight end room, but I also believe in Bo Nix and those short intermediate passes to get the ball out fast and find Ingram in the middle of the field. There could be something there. So I just put him directly in the middle of my rankings.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, yeah, that's kind of maybe why I had him at number 11. He was kind of in the middle with some of these other guys here, and again, I kind of think, hey, again, he's still kind of figuring out Denver, and he has the potential to be a top 10 guy. It's just needs some consistency, and hopefully with Bo Nix another year, and hopefully Ingram will be out there more to kind of provide a little security blanket for him. So,
How old is he going into Denver this
31.
season? Yeah, what is this, year 9 or something?
something like that, 8 or 9. Yeah, he's been around for a little while. Huh?
If there's anybody that can figure out how to get the most out of a middle-aged athletic tight end, it's Sean Payton. So,
yeah, yeah, that's what you're gambling on with him at this point.
All right, Dives, number 15. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Jonnu Smith. Where you guys have him on this list? Did you guys got him on your list? Yeah, you guys did. Okay. Another guy that I wasn't too sure about, so I wanted to keep him on my top 16. He finished the season like gangbusters, caught 79 of 98 targets for 800 plus yards, 8 touchdowns during the final 13 games. He had a lot of targets, fourth among tight ends, 6'3". In that Dolphins offense, they like to get the ball out fast, but now he's with the Steelers. So that's why he's a little bit down on my rankings because, we all know that's a run first offense. And Pat Freiermuth is also there, who I think I'm actually a big fan of his. I think he's underrated. So that's why he's a little bit more down on my list.
Gotcha. Shane, you had him at number 11.
Yeah, he had his career high in targets, receptions, and yards last season in Miami, and which makes total sense why Miami just got rid of him. But he really came into his own in the second half of the season. He's a really good yak guy he's solid as a blocker. Like, it's not his strength, but he can do it more than a Kyle Pitts and Evan Ingram can. He's not the best route runner. I feel like he relies more on athleticism than anything to separate, but I think he's a nice pickup for the Steelers. I really like, what they'll be able to do out of 12 personnel with him and Pat Freiermuth.
David, number 10.
Yeah, I like him there as well. I mean, he has juice after the catch. He can be moved around the formation. He gives the Steelers a reliable tight end who can attack soft spots. He's kind of a dart throw, but on film, you'll notice like the subtle impact, sealing edges, sometimes leaking out, being exactly where last season Tua needed him, but where quarterbacks you normally need him to be. So, yeah, I think he was a really good get for the Steelers in that deal.
Yeah, I had him number 10, and this was certainly prior to the trade. I kept him there just again because he finished so strong. It felt like the last 4 or 5 weeks, he was, guaranteed, to score a touchdown there. So, yeah, he certainly impressed me the last half of the season, and I look, forward to him kind of being that guy for Rodgers there to, when DK kind of disappears like he sometimes does. Jonnu should be a nice, reliable target, hopefully. So, all righty, let's stay with me for my number 15. I had Isaiah Likely. This is a guy that again has kind of been in the shadow of Mark Andrews. But it shows that Baltimore likes to run two tight ends, and obviously Andrews has kind of been in and out of the lineup with injuries, and Isaiah Likely has certainly shined when given the opportunity as well, not just kind of in a secondary tight end role. So yeah, I'm looking for him to continue his breakout from last year, and yeah, I just like to see what this guy can do with some more time in the field. So, all right, Shane, you had him all the way up at number 8.
Yeah, he's really hard for me to place. He started the year awesome, and then he fell off as Mark Andrews got more healthy. And I think he is a good route runner. He's not a very good blocker. He was 5th in yards after the catch per reception, whereas Mark Andrews was 31st. So he creates more for you than Andrews does. He's never had like a full big season, though, and it's a bit of a tight end by committee thing. And I mean, well, I'll spoil my ranking, but I have Mark Andrews at number 9. And I think both of those guys are tough to place because maybe neither one of them is great, and Lamar is just really good with tight ends. I know Mark kind of thinks that way. I had a really hard time placing these guys, so I just placed them right next to each other at 8 and 9.
Gotcha. David, you had him at number 9.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best insurance policies at the position in the NFL. He stepped in seamlessly when Andrews went down late last year. He flashes fluid athleticism, soft hands, which is a big reason he was a draft sleeper out of Coastal Carolina. I think he's more than just a fill-in guy. I think he's a playmaker in his own right. Baltimore would be wise, in my opinion, to keep Likely and heavily involved in the 12th personnel formation. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up second on the team in red zone targets. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Dimes, why do you hate Isaiah Likely?
I just don't. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on him yet. He's young. He's got major upside. I just think Mark Andrews is a more traditional tight end with that style of offense. I think he's just a better fit. I have Mark Andrews pretty high on my list, I believe. So yeah.
All right. Let's go with Shane, your number 14.
Yeah, my number 14 is David Njoku. And a terrible year last season, but in a terrible situation in Cleveland. He's an elite athlete and yak guy, just like Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts. I do think he's a better blocker than either of those. He's okay as a blocker. He does have inconsistent hands, so maybe not as good of a catcher as those guys, but those three are kind of my tier of like super athletic guys that I really want to put it all together, and it just hasn't quite happened yet. But he's my number 14.
Gotcha. Dives, number 10.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he gets a lot of targets, and he just needs to stay healthy. The biggest question mark is that Cleveland quarterback situation. Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson has a torn Achilles. And then you throw in your boy Ryan, Harold Fant with the Cleveland Browns, and we'll see what that looks like. They picked him in the 3rd round, so they clearly see him as a successor. So we'll see.
All right, David, number 11.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same reasons. He was one of their more consistent pass catchers during all the chaos down the stretch of their season last year. I mean, he's a matchup nightmare with some athleticism, honestly. I mean, the talent is there, but the production needs to catch up, or he probably won't be on the list next season.
Yeah. I know he's got a contract, that's ending soon there in Cleveland. So this is certainly hopefully for him, kind of an audition to the rest of the league that he can be consistent. And, I think when he is on, he is one of the better tight ends in this league, but that consistency just needs to kind of, show up day in and day out, more times than not. So, all right, I'm going to stay with myself here and go with my number, was that number 13?
Yep.
My number 13 is Dalton Schultz from the Houston Texans. I think this guy is a really nice, consistent target, for CJ Stroud. Obviously, there are some, nice wide receivers there, Nico Collins, etc. But yeah, Schultz just is kind of a guy that, is more, certainly can be a really good blocker, but can kind of get the first downs, get the tough yards. And, I think when you see CJ struggling to kind of find the Nico Collins of the world down the field, he seems to go to Schultz and rely on him to kind of maybe get himself out of it. So just that fact alone, I like the fact that he's that for CJ Stroud. So that's why I'm at him at number 13. Shane, you also had him at 13.
Yeah, and so did David. I think it's funny. All three of us had him at 13.
Yep.
Somebody mentioned earlier the disparity on Tucker Kraft. I think it's equally fascinating when we all have a guy in the teens in the exact same spot, because we don't talk about these before the show. But Dalton Schultz is really sure-handed. He only has 20 drops in 7 years in the NFL, but he doesn't generate a lot after the catch. He's near the bottom of the league in yards per route run last season. I think he's a good route runner with a high football IQ, and he's functional as a blocker. Like he is Mr. Reliable, and that's about it. Like he is a high floor, low ceiling guy, if we were going to use draft terminology. And so there's a lot of value in that, especially at a volatile position like tight end. He just doesn't bring a ton of upside. What you see is what you get, which isn't bad. But that's why I've got him just outside the top 10.
David, also 13.
Yeah, same. My first two notes were reliable and knows how to get open. That was about the best that I could give for him. I'll give him credit. He played a vital role in CJ Stroud's rapid rise, in my opinion. I mean, he was a very reliable weapon. Did the dirty work over the middle. He came up in a lot of, clutch key spots. He's not the flashiest player, but the Texans know his value and how to maximize his potential. Like Shane said, he has really great hands, doesn't get much yak, but they know what they have with him and he fills his role in their offense very well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Dibes, any reason why you didn't have Dalton Schultz on your list?
Yeah, I had some concerns. They brought in some newbies, like Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, who I really, really like for that offense. So I'm not buying the 2023 Texans. So
Yeah, a comment here from Brett Eclipse asking why the Cowboys let Schultz walk again. The Texans paid him like $12 million a year, which is more than he's worth. But so that's probably got more to do with it. They had the room to spend on him, and the Cowboys were better served spending that money elsewhere.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, David, who do you have for your number 12?
Dalton Kincaid out of Buffalo. I expected him to kind of build upon his rookie season. That didn't really happen, but he's a solid player, if not spectacular. But I think there's more there. He flashed in spurts. He never quite exploded like everybody had hoped, but I still think he's got the tools to be, a really good player. He's more of a pure receiver than and kind of a developing blocker, I guess would be a nice way to say it. He struggles against power, but he can wall off defensive backs, seal. They use him in motion often to create mismatches. So, I expect his better days ahead of him.
Dives, you had him number 11.
yeah, I just look at that offense, and there's not a lot of big time talent at wide receiver. I think he's in a good situation. You look at Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir, Elijah Moore, Laviska Shenault. Remember that guy, future Eagle Laviska Shenault. But anyway, that's a big reason why he's high on my list because he's going to get targets.
All right, Shane, number 12.
Yeah, he's another one of those super athletic guys that he's almost a receiver. He fell off hard in year two. His season high was 53 yards in a game. He was asked to stay in and block a lot on 37% of his dropbacks or of the team dropbacks, which is strange considering he's not a very good blocker. I do think he's a good yak guy and a good route runner. It just hasn't all come together for him yet. And, if you're working with a quarterback as talented as Josh Allen and it doesn't come together, it starts to make me question things. So hopefully he has a big year this year. If not, I would probably not have him in my top 16 next year.
Yeah, honestly, I have him up high because I truly do believe in the potential of Dalton Kincaid, and again, as kind of Dives illustrated, there's not a lot offensively for Josh Allen to utilize there, and they really should be using him a lot more often. And kind of like you just said, Shane, I could easily see him if he has another season like last year, him falling off this list for me. And I'm just kind of betting that the last year was not the norm, and we'll see him kind of figure it out this year. So, all right, we are at number 12 for Dives. Dives, who do you have at number 12?
Yeah, it's my guy. I'm going Tyler Warren with the Colts, man. Big fan of Tyler Warren, as you all know. It was a little surprising that he wasn't the first tight end off the board, going 14 overall to the Colts. Colston Loveland going, 4 spots before that. Just major production at Penn State, over 100 catches, over 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, elite versatility, elite leadership. Yeah, I know the Colts threw the 4th fewest passes to tight ends last year. And I know the quarterback situation is a disaster. But for me personally, I had Tyler Warren just a notch below Brock Bowers as a talent. And I just think this guy will be a reliable security blanket for whatever quarterback wins that job, whether that be Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. Word out of camp is he's getting a ton of targets, high usage. The Colts would be absolute idiots if they don't run their offense through Tyler Warren, but that probably happens. They probably don't do that. So I think Tyler Warren's a stud, and that's why he's my number 12.
All right, I'm pretty sure everybody here can rinse and repeat for the Colston Loveland comments. But also probably for the quarterback situation comments. I'm sure it's not something that is too high on our list of things that make us want to put Tyler Warren on this list. So unless anybody has anything to add, I'll roll on.
Nope,
All
just
right.
the rookie thing.
Yeah, just rookies. All right, number 10. We're jumping the gun here, but Shane, who do you have for number 10?
Travis Kelce is my number 10. He's as elite as you can be for a long time, but he just seems to be slowing down. His yards per catch and touchdowns last year were career lows. Fortunately, he is the type of player that can age well. I mean, he's super savvy with a knack for finding the holes in zone coverage. He's not like a ridiculous athlete that's going to lose that step, but I felt like watching him last year, it was the beginning of the end, and I really couldn't justify putting him a lot higher based off of what we saw last season.
All right, Dives, number 8.
Same thing, man. It's just Father Time, I think, is slowly catching up, and we've seen his lowest marks pretty steadily here, and I think Xavier Worthy is going to get more targets. And there's some other names to watch there on that offense. So I think, we'll just steadily see the decline of Travis Kelce. I think he's going to still be impactful, of course, with Patrick Mahomes, but not to the level we saw, a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had him still number 6. Obviously, I still believe he can be a really good tight end in this league. I obviously the first sign of the decline is usually the greatest, but I don't expect him to take as steep of a drop off as he did from 2 years to last year. But you're right. I mean, it obviously the end is near. So it's kind of why I still put him there at number 6. Thinking, you know what, he wouldn't surprise me if that's where he ended the year at, but it also wouldn't be surprised if he started slipping a little bit. David, number 4.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a dynasty league or something like that, I obviously would have him much lower, but this is just for 2025. Has he lost a step? Yes. Does it really matter? I don't know. In a down year, he still posted 97 catches. I mean, that's kind of incredible. It tells you how dominant he's been, that's his worst. Um, in my opinion, he still remains Mahomes' most trusted option. Add in another probable Super Bowl run, the opportunity for him to set a whole lot of career milestones. And I just think his place in tight end royalty is kind of cemented. And I still think he's top 5 until somebody proves it otherwise.
All right. There you go. Shane, let's go back to you for your number 9.
Yeah, I mentioned him earlier, but I've got Mark Andrews at number 9. And he's also really tough to place. He's been productive for a long time, but his injury in 2023 opened the door for Isaiah Likely, who was good while he was out and then has eaten into his target since he came back. Mark Andrews has good hands. He's a big-time red zone threat. He's not a good blocker. His efficiency stats aren't as good as Isaiah Likely. As I mentioned, 31st in yards after contact 31st in yak per reception, where Isaiah Likely is 5th. I lumped them together. Maybe they're both not that good. Maybe they're both really good. I don't know. It's really hard to place them to me.
All right, Dodge, you had him at number 7.
Yeah, the one fun, interesting fact about these two is both are in the final years of their contract. So I'm curious, like, how that will impact their target share. Just something to think about.
Absolutely. Yeah, listen, I think last year was kind of an anomaly. Injuries and again, a kind of a slow start kind of led to a lot of that. So, but once he, midseason kind of hit, obviously he was healthy, he shook off the slow start. He was back to kind of being his dominant self. So, David, you had him at number 6.
Yeah, when healthy, I mean, I think he's elite, but like we just mentioned, he, missed a lot of time. But another thing that is like a common theme when you're talking about tight ends, he is, Lamar, yet another quarterback's go-to guy. He's the, safety valve. He makes the tough catches over the middle. He makes the box out grabs in the red zone. He exudes leadership that doesn't show up in the box score. And he's basically still the heart of Baltimore's passing game. Shane's right. He isn't out there pancaking people, but he is assignment sound and he's physical. And, he's a key component in Baltimore's run heavy sets. So that's why I had him at 6.
All right. David, let's stay with you. Your number 8 tight end. Who do you got?
I think it's TJ Hawkinson. He has to stay healthy. That's the bottom line. 2024 was an injury riddled season for him. And, the Vikings offense underwent a lot of changes, but I do think he has, above average talent. He's above average route runner. He's smart with leverage. The quarterback situation will, definitely dictate, his ability to put up good numbers. But I think that who's the quarterback, McCarthy, this season?
Yep.
If he's somewhat competent, I think you could see a small bounce back from Hawkinson.
Gotcha. Dives, number 6 for Hawkinson.
Yeah, same thing David said. Of course, he's going to be that security blanket for JJ McCarthy, hitting those short routes. As a check down, I think TJ should have a good season, despite Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and all those other weapons on that offense. Should still put up decent numbers.
And Shane, all the way up at number 4.
Yeah, he missed the first half of last season with an ACL injury, but he came back and produced in the back half of the season, so it allays concerns about that lingering really for me. He's a solid route runner with good hands. He doesn't really have high-end athleticism or blocking, but he's serviceable in both areas. He's just kind of a well-put-together tight end that can do a little bit of everything. And there's not a lot of well-rounded tight ends in the league, to be honest. There's a lot of receivers. There's not a lot of them that are well-rounded, and he is one. So that got him up into my top 5.
Yeah, honestly, I think the injury history for Hawkinson, the uncertainty of J.J. McCarthy, kind of pushed him down a little bit for me. Otherwise, I'd probably have him up where you have him, Shane. I love Hawkinson. Honestly, I think, like you said, he plays the game the right way. He's a complete tight end. But yeah, I just kind of pushed him down a little bit just with the uncertainty of the injuries and the quarterback. So, all right, we'll stay with me. We'll go with my number 8. And we finally have a Philadelphia Eagle. It's Dallas Goedert. I wish I would have pushed you down even further. But I figured I'd at least have you at number 8. Listen, in all seriousness, I really do like Dallas Goedert. I think it's more of a being disappointed in his availability. Every year, it's this injury, it's that injury. It constantly keeps him out, and the Eagles certainly don't believe in getting, at least not recently, a competent tight end too for when he does go out. I think, again, when healthy, I think he's right up there. In fact, I'd probably have him a little higher. Some of the plays he's able to make, not a lot of tight ends can. So it's really just the injury. He's soft like Charmin. So all right, Dives, number 5.
Just like Shane said, I mean, he's a complete tight end,
Yep.
and he's put up a lot of records as a tight end in postseason history. You looked at last year, he was the Eagles' best receiver in the playoffs. He was the guy that had the stiff arm against the Packers. That was arguably the biggest play, and consistently made big play after big play. Go watch the highlights. And we don't talk about it enough. And he was right there with Zach Bond as one of my favorite signings of the offseason. I mean, the Eagles don't have any other options. They don't even have that many options going forward. If you look at 2026, it's not great. So glad he's back. I think he is an elite tight end when healthy. Big 2 words there. And he is a top 5. That was the point of me putting him at 5, because he is a top 5 tight end when healthy.
Jif peanut butter. It's that Jiffing good, it doesn't really need advertising. So instead, enjoy the calming sounds of the ocean. Jif. Ooh, it's that Jiffing good. Get your Jif at Jif.com.
Everyone who works at Starbucks, full or part-time, gets stock in our company, simply for being part of our company. That's why we call our employees partners, because when Starbucks succeeds, our people do too. And that success turns into down payments, family vacations, and so much more. At Starbucks, benefits like company stock are just the start. Learn more about how we support partners at starbucks.com/partners.
This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao, a new kind of flavored sparkling water. The kind made with real fruit juice, a pinch of Sicilian salt, and the sparkle of the Italian sun. With no added sugar and just 10 or less calories per can, enjoy. With love, from Italy. By San Pellegrino Ciao now.
Yep, the beauty junk drawer. Full of those used once, why did I buy this? That was a waste products. Stop adding to it. Shop at Sephora and break the cycle. Sephora only carries the hot, high-quality products you'll never regret buying, and brands you can only find at Sephora, like Kayali, Makeup by Mario, Kerastase, and M Beauty. Shop the hottest beauty with no regrets, only at Sephora.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
All right. David, you had him at number 7.
Yeah, I mean, Goddard's never going to lead the league in targets, but when he gets the ball, good things happen. I mean, he's a big-time blocker, he's tough as nails, he plays with leverage. He can handle most defensive ends. He sustains blocks well in space, all while being, a very reliable intermediate target. Philly doesn't never need to sub him out. He's a 3-down grinder, and there's a lot of value in that, in my opinion. And offensively, he has an underrated yak ability and serves as a safety blanket on a team full of superstars. And again, there's value in that as well. Philly still trusts him when it matters the most, and that's good enough for me to have him number 7.
All right. And Shane, you had him up at number 5 as well.
Yeah, Brett Eclipse says it's not a unanimous top 5, so the top 5 counter stays at 3 Eagles, and that's David and Ryan's fault because he's absolutely a top 5 tight end in the league. Injuries and volume have been the 2 Achilles heels for Goddard throughout his career. He's missed time. He's missed an average of 4 games a season over the last 4 years. And he's in a run-heavy offense that also has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and so volume's always been an issue. But he is one of the best run-blocking tight ends on this list. Like one of the few guys that his run blocking is a plus, not it's serviceable. Like I said with Hawkinson, like he is a plus. The Eagles averaged last season almost 30% more rushing yards on plays that Goddard was on the field versus off the field. So he is a massive positive there. And he's really good after the catch. He's second in yards after the catch per reception and second in yards per route run among tight ends last year. Now he lacks top end speed. That's the only thing missing, that and the health to make him like the complete package, like, the guys we're going to get to here in a minute. But Dallas Goedert's awesome. If he could stay healthy and he was in an offense that funneled through him, people would think a lot more highly of him.
I'm fairly certain. You look at Hurts' improvement against the blitz last year, and Goddard's a big piece of that.
All right.
Having a route that wasn't 4 verticals was a big piece of that too.
That's all. That also.
All right, Shane, we'll stick with you for your number 6 tight end. Who do you got?
Yeah, at number 6, I've got Trey McBride. He's the security blanket for Kyler Murray. Was targeted a league high 27.5% of his routes last season. And despite all of those targets, he was really effective. 3rd in yards per route run. He could be a better blocker. He falls on the athletic tight end, not the blocking tight end end of the spectrum. And that's the sliding scale with these guys. But he's a good player, and he's going to continue to put up a lot of numbers because he is one of the best options in that offense, and he's on the same wavelength with Kyler once you get into scramble drill.
All right. Dives, you had Trey McBride on number 2.
I think the biggest question I have, and I had him on my top 16, is wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. and how many targets he takes away from Trey McBride in 2025, especially in the red zone. As a red zone weapon, McBride was, interesting. So that's my question.
All right. Yeah. I get that. But yeah, Trey McBride, again, is only been in this league a short, time, and he's already shown that he's one of the better tight ends in this league. Him and Marvin and Kyler, that could be a nice combo for the next couple of years, because Kyler doesn't need to necessarily do much. Just get the ball to one of those 2 guys, and McBride is certainly improving year in and year out so far in this league. And I just think he is going to get even better. David, your thoughts?
Yeah, McBride does everything except score touchdowns. I mean, he had 111 catches, 1,146 yards. Kyler Murphy's safety valve and main weapon last season, but the red zone work just didn't follow for some reason. Still, he's proven to be one of the league's best route runners from the tight end position. I think he's a true breakout player who has shown significant improvement as a blocker. So, yeah, I love the kid.
All right, David, we'll stick with you.
Here, before we do that, a comment here from
Yes.
Brett Eclipse. If anybody asks how good Dallas Goedert is at getting yards after the catch, just show them that Packers clip of him stiff-arming a defender for 10 yards worth of space straight. It's so much fun watching him stiff-arm guys. I'm pretty sure that's how he's had 2 of his injuries, too, is stiff-arming guys and getting drugged down on that arm. But it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. So, all right, yeah, go ahead, David. You're number 5.
Yeah, you're number 5, bud.
I have Sam Laporta, who is the opposite of Trey. He is a touchdown machine. Laporta wasn't quite as dominant between the 20s, last year, but his nose for the end zone hasn't faded. He got 17 touchdowns in 2 seasons. He remains a mismatch nightmare. He's young, physical, improving. He doesn't necessarily dominate the trenches, but he doesn't need to be subbed out in key situations, which has been valuable for him. He's a rising star at the blue-collar edge, man. I really like him a lot, too.
Yeah, he's just fun to watch, honestly. He certainly had a few games where he kind of disappeared a little bit last year, but I think that was more of just matchups and scheme. But for the most part, Laporta is, like you said, a touchdown machine. Finds his way in the red zone consistently, and doesn't seem like anybody's able to really stop him. So. I look for him to continue that in this upcoming season. So, Shane, you had him number 3.
Yeah, he had a fantastic rookie year, and then he did have a production drop-off in 2024, but it was due to a decrease in opportunities, not a decrease in effectiveness. He's got impressive burst. He's a good yak guy. He's a solid blocker. He's kind of the whole package, and so if he had done it for a few more years, he might be a little higher for me, but I couldn't put him above either of the other guys I have left.
All right, Dives, number 4 for Laporta.
Yeah, he's awesome. And the biggest question mark, with that amount of talent on that offense, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you can go on and on, the loss of Ben Johnson and enter John Morton and what that Lions offense is going to look like in 2025 is a bit of a question mark.
All right. Dives, we'll stick with you and your number 3 tight end. Who do you got?
I got George Kittle. George Kittle for me. He's one of 3 tight ends to get over 1,100 receiving yards last year. He had 8 touchdowns, tied for second most at the position. This dude just doesn't show signs of slowing down. He's 31 years old, still one of the top 3 tight ends for me. This is his second consecutive year of over 1,000 yards, 4th time hitting that threshold in 8 seasons. Doesn't get the volume other tight ends get, but elite efficiency. And I think the departure of Deebo Samuel is a good thing. If you're a George Kittle fantasy football owner, I think that's going to be more targets for him.
All right. I think Kittle is a tight end that quite literally can do everything exceptionally well. Amazing blocker, is not afraid to get dirty. Again, can catch anything thrown to him. His catch radius is crazy for a tight end, and yeah, he has yak for days. So, he certainly makes Purdy look a lot better than he is. That's for sure. But yeah, I have to have him at number 2 spot. David, you had him up at number 1.
Yeah, to me, he's still the gold standard at the position. I mean, he's a tone setter, a true 6th offensive lineman who can erase edge rushers, seal lanes in the run game, and, play later, he can torch a linebacker 30 yards down the field. Blocking wise, he's in a league of his own, in my opinion. He dominates, without needing a high volume. Last year was just another masterclass at the position, in my opinion. 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, all pro blocking. I mean, he's just a complete player.
And Shane, you also had him number 1.
Yeah, he's led all tight ends in yards per route run since he entered the league. He is an elite blocker as well. He's the only guy on this list that's on par with Goddard in terms of blocking, and he's a yak monster. He can do it all. Like, he's Dallas Goddard, but with elite athleticism and a better track record of health. I think I'd have to check that part. I don't remember how healthy he's been, but he's the total package. He's number 1 overall for me.
Yeah, he's been much healthier. I think he's missed like 8 or 9 games in 4 years.
That's what's in my head, but I wasn't 100% positive.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, Shane, I'll stick with you. You're number 2. Who you got?
Yeah, I've got Brock Bowers at number 2, and I flirted with the idea of putting him number 1, and I ultimately didn't because of Kittle's. Sounds stupid, but it's my thing. Because of Kittle's blocking ability. If you can't block, you're a slot receiver, not a tight end, and Kittle is so good at that. But Bowers was awesome, and I think he's going to pass Kittle at some point in the next season or two. It was only 1 year, but he was awesome while catching passes from Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and Desmond Ridder. He led the league in targets, receptions, and receiving yards from the position, was targeted on 26% of his routes, with 2.02 yards per route run, which was 4th among tight ends, which means he was highly effective with incredible volume. Total package, he's awesome. I can't wait to see the offense they're going to cook up with him and Geno and Ashton Genty this year.
Yeah, no, yeah, and the reason why I had him number 1 is, again, I think, heading into this season, and not that I'm saying that Kittle is on the decline by any means. He's certainly consistent. I just think that Bowers, we've only just, seen the tip of the iceberg of what he's capable of doing, and I fully expect him to continue to reinvent what it means to be a tight end, especially receiving wise. And obviously the blocking prowess will continue to come, but I just can't. Just figured I'd have him number 1. Dibes, your thoughts on him number 1 as well?
Yeah, he's terrific. He's the best tight end in football, and in my opinion, I think he only had 16 red zone targets last year, and the story is Geno Smith and what that's going to do for him getting more touchdowns. I think he only had 5 last year, and the Raiders were 4-13. So Geno Smith, Brock Bowers, of course Ashton Genty, that should be the driving force of that offense. And Bowers just is a beast. I saw it coming out of Georgia. We all saw it, and he is that good.
David, number 2.
Yeah, it took 0 time for Bowers to become a problem for the rest of the league. I mean, his rookie numbers were eye-popping: 112 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he did all of that while learning on the fly in a rebuilding offense. The one question mark is, his profile, and his blocking. He's willing and he gives effort, but he is a little undersized. He's kind of more of a space guy right now, but he's extremely coachable, high football IQ. He's only going to improve. And, I think 2025 is his official launch party. And when we're doing this 12 months from now, he's probably number 1 on this list.
Gotcha. Yeah, Brett Eclipse chimes in. Poor Brock Bowers and Puka Nacua having generation rookie seasons at their position, only to lose Offensive Rookie of the Year to a quarterback having a generational season in back-to-back years. Yeah, that's that's always rough. But hey, just shows kind of shows you how the league is going right now with some of these young players, which is great to see. I don't think we could necessarily have said that in certain years where you just didn't have that type of a season from rookies. And hell, 20, 30 years ago, the rule was it always took you 3 years to figure out how to play in the NFL. So now it's instant. So, but, well, there you have it, folks. Check out our top 16 tight ends. Let us know what you guys think, who you have, where did we go wrong, and especially Dibes. What did he do wrong? Um, Now, but seriously, if you like our series, please go check out. We did quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and now tight ends. And next week we will be doing offensive tackles, so stay tuned for that. That should be an interesting one. As I gotta admit, it's not always at least these positions are positions you see and you could see the stat lines and you know um, tackle. It's a little tougher, especially if you're not watching a lot of games. So, but stay tuned for that for next week. We will be back Monday once again. So stay tuned for that. Um, I guess we'll pop out of here. David, do you have anything to add? Any comments? What are you working on? Tell the people what's up.
Released a piece for the Philly Sports Network today about being an Eagles fan, about how it's often painful, recently euphoric, but it's a litmus test, not one you study for. Unfortunately, it's one that you've had to live through to see. But check it out. You either bleed green or you don't, and there's no other way around it. But go check it out. It has a lot of good moments and a lot of questions and stuff about being an Eagles fan over the past few years.
Yeah, I checked that out earlier today, David, and
oh, thank you.
I got to tell
You're
you,
the one, huh?
I got
You're
to
the one
tell
who
you,
read
yeah,
it. Thank you.
every box I was check. Yep, that's me. So yeah, it is a fun read though. It's a little painful, some portions, but yeah, it's fun. So, all right, Dives, your turn, buddy. What do you got?
2 weeks till players, almost 2 weeks till players report. I just need it. just these 2 weeks got to go fast. That's it.
All right, Shane, what else?
Yeah, we're going to have to step on it. We might have to start doing 2 positions a week or something. I don't know if we're going to get done. We'll figure that out. But thank you guys for chugging along with us. Thanks to those of you that have pointed out some of the video and audio issues we've encountered since the switch. So appreciate you guys. We'll have it all straightened out as quickly as we can. Like I said, been working with Riverside a lot. But be sure you're following the Eagles Pinpool Network wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube. Follow all of these guys on Twitter. All great follows, and football's going to be here before you know it. And we'll have you guys ready for the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we also have a Twitter, Eagles Pinpool, and of course, Birds of the Round Table. So go find those as well. But we're also on Twitch. We're also on Facebook. So go check that out. Give us support. Share it. Send it to your friends. All that fun stuff. So, all right. Well, that is going to be it for us tonight for the Birds of the Round Table. Like I said, next week we are still here Monday at 8 o'clock. We'll be doing our top 16 offensive tackles. So stay tuned for that. And check out all the previous episodes for our top 16 previous positions. So for everyone here, for the Birds of the Round Table, for the Eagles Pinpool, have a great night, everybody, and go Birds.